What's going on, everyone? Back with another trade review. Today we're talking about Enphase Energy, ticker symbol ENPH. This was a post-earnings play, a gap down. It was a short setup. We took it for about 100% gain with the put options. Let's jump right into the charts. All right, this is ENPH. Did want to bring up the notes before we jump into the chart. As always, we post the pre-market prep. This is part of the Traders Think Tank. Post this every morning before the opening bell. Basically what this is this is just the main ideas that we're going to be watching for the day, as well as the broader market analysis. So we had ENPH on the list. It was a fresh news play. The news was earnings. As always, if you guys have been watching these reviews for a while or you're in the group, you know that I don't really care about what the catalyst was or what the earnings was. I'm mostly interested in a catalyst because it brings an audience to the stock. That's the main thing that I'm looking for. So ENPH gets categorized as a fresh news trade. I'm going in with no bias. I'll explain why I had no bias in just a moment. Once we're looking at the chart, it is a gap trade. We're gapping down, and the idea was to watch for weakness below 182 to test 175, 167, 160. I have all these levels here on the chart as well. So let's take a look at the daily chart here, basically to get a sense of what the location was. This stock was gapping into these lows right through here, right around 183. And so I was coming into this trade with no bias simply because I observe this level as a daily pivot. We can see that there is some support right through here. If we go back onto the 1 year, I always like to look at the 1 year. We have some prior support right through 180, and I have recent action right here at the 183 level. And so the idea here is that this could potentially bounce versus that 182 level if buyers step in versus this recent low. Now, it's not the strongest level of support looking at the chart just like this, but of course there is the possibility that it can hold. Charts have memory, they remember certain prices, and so we don't want to come into this trade with any bias. So with that in mind, anytime I have a no bias type of trade, I'm keeping what I call a 2-minute rule. And basically the 2-minute rule for me says that I won't trade the opening 2 minutes in the stock just to kind of let the quote unquote dust settle in the stock, provide the highest probability setup. So looking at ENPH on the 1 minute here, you could see the gap down holds that trigger level as support. So this is our first clue that it may potentially hold as support. Later in the morning starts to break down, and that really added conviction onto the trade. Now, initially the stock bounces, does a little overshoot of the 182 and rejects. The best entry is going to be right here into the 182 with a stop at the highs if you are going to be okay with trading the open. Again, I have the 2-minute rule, and to continue to respect my rules, I'm not getting involved right here. I wait for this candle to open. I enter my puts right here. It was the 175 put at around 4 or so, and the stop would have been session highs. First target is the 175. Second target is going to be the 167. Thankfully, this gave an extremely clean move. This is a high probability play per my playbook. Here are the executions on the chart. And we did have ENPH is one of the main focus ideas. You can see this was posted 7 minutes before the actual open. I am on Central Time, so that is 8:23 a.m. Market opens at 8:30 a.m. here. We had the main focus as SPY, the index, was in play today, and ENPH, two main focus ideas. ENPH was the play of the morning with this short setup. You can see my initial entry right on that 3rd-minute candle start to scale out into PT1. This stock is a little more spready than I would like, so to cover some of that risk off and take some profits as the stock proves me correct and to strengthen the move, I just joined the ask into the target and let the chasers take those contracts from me. We start to offer more out into PT2. Again, I want to cross the spread to the best of my ability and let chasers take these contracts from me so I don't actually have to pay the spread. From there, I'm going to go ahead and set a trail. And the way I like to trail is basically as the stock continues to move in my favor, I'm just going to set the trail on whatever the previous candle's high was. And so in this scenario, price breaks that candle, this prior candle high, and I trail out of the trade. We can see that right here. As price breaks that prior candle high, I simply trail out of the trade. That's a simple trailing method that I use to continue to hold a stock but not give back too much of my open gains. Now the stock did go on to provide more setups, and it did actually test our PT3. I'm more interested in this initial momentum move. That is more my play right there, and so I focused on that trade. That was ENPH. If you guys have any questions about this setup or how to actually trade this, or you want to trade with us live, join us in the Traders Think Tank. You can send me a DM there at any time. Again, this trade was a daily breakdown. So we have a gap, but we're always focused on trade location. Trade location is these recent daily lows. We have an area of potential support. If this support fails, I'm going to be using targets that, again, I just look left and I pull them right off of the chart. Again, hope you guys found this helpful. If you have any questions, go ahead and send me a DM or comment below the video. I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much.